everybody. Last time we had 100 people, so I'm going to just start and we'll go along, keep my eye on the chat box, make sure that we've got everybody set up. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the AATF webinar, checking in and reflecting on distance learning. This is offered by the AATF, but we invited all French teachers to come in. We wanted to make sure our last webinar series was in March, when we first heard, many of us, that our schools would be either temporary paused or going to complete online learning. And then we waited a while just to see what would happen for everybody. And I do mean, you know, there are still school districts in South Dakota, North Dakota, they're still going to school. So we just wanted to give everybody time to reflect on what it's been like these first couple of weeks. And we have some just quick requests. This is all a new world for many people to join in on so many different meetings a week, a day. And so as we're a large group, just be respectful of everybody's speaking time. And if you have questions, you can email us after the meetings. We're pretty quick about adding people in. And then as we come from different perspectives and locales, please just be respectful of different approaches to teaching, learning, and procedures. So you don't need to display your video during this, but please keep your microphone muted unless you'd like to speak during a time that we have it for open for everybody. And if you look down on your bottom at that little bar that we were discussing earlier, there is a reactions emojis available. So if you want to say something or join in, let's put in one more person who's joining in, just to keep these in mind, because we have something like 57 people in, 44 right now, but there's 57 people that wanted to join today. So we're just going to try and make conversation. We're going to be putting you into breakout rooms in a little bit. I'll tell you about that. So we have just some quick objectives to just make sure that you are feeling supported, not just by the organization AATF, but by other French teachers who know exactly or can emote pretty well what you're going through and what your students are going through. We've all had these major moments of just feeling at our lowest, and we're here to provide some hopeful, moral, and tangible support. We're going to share some strategies and ideas for curriculum design modifications. We have some ideas for technology tools and workarounds. And then I'm going to be showing you about the curricular and authentic resource platforms. So it's not a big thing, but it's something we hope. And our l'ordre du jour, we're going to just introduce ourselves as the presenters. I've created a shared resource document that you'll be able to click on and to access, where if you have other ideas that you'd like to share, you've got some links to things that people have done. We can put it together on one document. Although we do have the AATF curated and collaborative resource, not Padlets, Wakelets. I wanted just to get this document together, so if you're not comfortable with Wakelet yet, you can just plop an idea down. Today we're going to be having 2 conversation or breakout rooms, and the first one is pretty general. We're just going to be asking, how are you? You know, what's your situation right now? And then our second one is going to be kind of specific topics. Each of our presenters are going to share some ideas and facilitate a conversation with you. So the conversation room we'll talk about in just a few minutes. It's going to be about 20 to 25 minutes. But before too long, if you can click on this, you need to maybe minimize the Zoom screen and go to your own screen. If you haven't yet clicked on our shared document, I'm going to put it one more time in the chat. You can click on it, and that way you'll be able to follow along and click on our presentation as we're going. So this will take you to a quick Google form that's going to ask you one quick question. What would you like to do in that second conversation room? Okay, so just for a moment, I'm going to put this up here and make sure that everybody can see it, the presentation. And Heidi, can I actually ask you to pop that in there to the conversation?
Pop it in the chat.
Yep.
You got it.
Thank you so much. So, you know, after we're done with that, while we're working on the first conversation room, I'm going to put everybody's ideas in and get you all set up into that conversation room. In the conversation room, there's going to be a facilitator, and these are our ideas. We've got Teresa. She's going to be looking at asynchronous planning for the week and managing student communication. Justin, he's going to be, oh boy, he's got a big one, thinking ahead for fall 2020. Nathan is here to talk to you about connecting with our youngest learners. So he works with elementary, and I'll have him talk about that more. Heidi, as always, is a wonderful technology support for me and for everyone. So she's going to be sharing her tools, ideas, and something that's worked well for her. Katie, she's the caring person today. No, she's caring every day. She's going to be talking about self-care and flexibility. So when you get a moment, okay, during the conversation room number 1 or just anytime, you're going to click on this link at the top. Okay, and you might have to minimize your Zoom window so it looks like you can see your own screen and click around. And then go to the question. And when you click on it, be sure to put your name. And it says no twice, sorry about that. And then choose the person. If any room will work for you, that's wonderful. We'll try to get everybody into their first room of choice. I'm not going to go through all these. This is from our last webinar, but things that we're considering when we're thinking about compassionate, engaging, reflective teaching during school closures and national emergencies. This you'll have on the presentation for as long as you need it, but to come back and think, what is it that we've been asked to do? Sometimes some of us in a week, and some of us for just a weekend. So looking at those, we'll come back to them and talk to them maybe during our breakout session number 1. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and then show you who the presenters are. We have 3 people on our first page and 3 people on our second, and the first 3 are our brand new presenters. So I'm going to ask Justin to start. Katie will continue, and Teresa, you'll be after Katie. Just take a moment. I'm going to ask Justin, can you share your screen, or if you want?
I really don't need to. I don't have a...
Perfect.
So
perfect. I'm going to put you up like this here.
Wonderful. So I am Justin Charles. I teach high school French in Illinois. Our last day of school was March 13th. And I'm in the lucky situation of working with 3 other French teachers at my school. But because we don't all teach the same levels, I don't know where the students I am getting are going to be at the end of the year. And it's quite possible that right now their teacher doesn't know where they are going to be either. So the breakout group that I am going to be leading is going to address kind of where will we start, when we start, and depending on what's going on, how we start. Take it away, Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Wheelock. I'm in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of DC. So yeah, I'm leading this group on self-care and flexibility because, not because I'm an expert at it, but because I think it's something that is crucial for getting through this time period. And usually I'm a soldier. I just keep doing my work and things don't get to me, and I'm a good leader. I'm there to support other people, but usually I'm pretty good with things. And our last day was March 13th as well, and I shed no tears on March 13th. I brought my plants home and grabbed 1 AP workbook and came home. And it really wasn't until last Thursday that I had my breakdown day and cried off and on all day about different issues that were going on, not so much coronavirus related, but I think it was just grieving for this situation and the loss of time with our colleagues and students. So anyhow, I'm looking forward to working with you today to brainstorm some ideas and suggestions and help us be healthy and as happy as possible moving forward.
Thank you, Katie. Teresa.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Teresa Flock. I am the current president of the AATF in Tennessee, and I work for Middle College High School in Memphis. And we're kind of an interesting situation because we do dual enrollment with Christian Brothers University, which is right across the street from us. So when we were all out the same day, all 3 of us apparently. So that was going into our spring break. And so we ended up, none of us really taking a spring break. I mean, we were all at home, but we all were furiously pivoting to be able to teach online because we did have those obligations to the university. What I've found that with that is that we've been like one of the more successful schools in our school district because we're smaller and nimble. And so I also was one of the teachers who was able to conduct the National French Contest via an online option. So what I found was setting up a synchronous versus asynchronous situation. I found that asynchronous was just better for the mental health and for the actual buy-in and participation of my students. So that's what I'm here to show you today.
Thank you so much. Okay. These are our the first time for the ATF, but we have some return customers, some return participants. Heidi, would you like to start out? Would
Sure.
you like to share your screen or just work
I'm
with
good.
us?
We
Okay.
can just stay there.
Okay.
So I'm Heidi Trude. I am also in Virginia, and I teach French at Loudoun Valley High School. And we have been closed since March 11th, and it was actually unexpected. Like, none of us were prepared. We literally got the call that morning, like at 5 in the morning, the call came and it's like, school is closed. And at that point, we were told it was going to be, I believe, 2 weeks. And we're like, okay, can we get in the building? Because that March 10th, that evening when I left, I didn't bring a single thing with me. I had left everything at school. So I'm like, this is great. I'm home. I have nothing. So we get a message that says, you may enter the building at noon on the 11th. You have 1 hour. Get anything you need. So I filled up a bag, whatever I thought I would need for like 2 weeks, which now I realize I didn't even grab everything I needed. I probably have food in my room that'll go bad, you name it. Yeah, it's there. But at least I have my materials, I have my laptop, so we survived that. And now, then we went in a couple week period where we had no contact whatsoever with our kids, which was really hard. Then we went into review only mode, and we had that for week and a half, 2 weeks of that. Then we had spring break, which was just last week. Now we're back to, as of yesterday, we're starting with new content. So this is day 2 of teaching brand new content to the students. So I will be sharing lots of tips in my breakout room of how you can leverage technology, especially during this time, to connect with your students on all the modes. So that's a little bit about me, and I didn't tell you guys that I am an AATF exec board member here in our Virginia chapter. I'm also our president-elect of our state language association, and I'm a regional on our SCOLT, which is Southern Conference on Language Teaching, that's a mouthful, board of directors as well. So looking forward to chatting with you guys later on. Nathan?
Thank you, Heidi. And Nathan, yes. Nathan, screen or no screen?
No screen.
Okay.
Just talk. My name is Nathan Lutz, and I am the Global Learning Coordinator for students pre-K through grade 12 and a primary school French teacher at an all-girls school in New Jersey, Kent Place School. I'm the current chair of the Northeast Conference on the Teaching of Foreign Languages, or NECFL, and also serving as the past president of the National Network for Early Language Learning. And my last day was March 6th, but that was only because we were heading into our 2-week spring break.
Wow.
So my spring break was spent with a lot of anxiety and watching from afar, everybody struggling, and I'm saying I'm going to pay attention to what all these people are going through and make sure that that I don't do any of their missteps. But you know, but I have to say, like, that week was it was good not to be in it, you know. You know, that sounds a little selfish, but I enjoyed being able to learn from other people and what they were going through and hearing the conversations. And I really spent a lot of time taking note of that. And, you know, it seemed like before that week was done that parents were already pretty much done with the whole situation, and then trying to project, like, through mid-June how these families are going to tolerate this. And looks like they will.
Thank you so much. Okay, so you've met our wonderful webinar facilitators. All of them have their contact information. Definitely, if you're not following Justin's Instagram, please do that. Most of us are on Twitter. Most of us are in the French Teachers in the USA or in a different world language Facebook group. If you know us from there, it's great to work with you. I am the ATF Technology Social Media Chair Resource Curator. I teach in Washington State, so we're basically where it all started. One of the first cases in the United States, and we've been working along trying to keep things like taken care of here. I think Washington State's done a very admirable job of keeping us safe and healthy. I'm a big technology person just like Heidi, but I'm also working with a lot of curriculum design and development for synchronous and asynchronous. So if you need to get in contact with me, I've got a contact form there as well. So thank you to all of our web presenters. These are all volunteers. These are all leaders in our organization, in their states, in their schools, and they've offered to come here on their own time to work with us. So I'm hoping that we can start this conversation. So our first conversation room is going to be about 20 to 25 minutes. This is the first time I will have put people into rooms. So you'll have to excuse me when I'm just brand new on this. It takes me a few seconds to figure out how I'm going to do this. So if you'll give me about, let's see, I've got, there's that. We're going to, Heidi and Katie and Teresa and Justin and Nathan, if you would unmute yourself, and I just ask everyone to stay muted for the moment.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my screen. How did you like the breakout rooms, Katie?
I loved it. That's the first time I've ever done a breakout room, and I thought that was super cool to see how that could work and to hear from everybody, how we're all dealing with things that are so much the same, but some that are very different as well was really rewarding.
So what the connections you saw, do you have any kind of takeaways or connections that you talked about, came up with an idea?
A lot of us are kind of concerned with speaking activities, community building that we want to maintain with our students, interactive activities. And I just really noticed as a group, and granted, only 2 of us in the group, had any kind of knowledge of each other beforehand, but in the question, how are you? A lot of us focused on what are we doing? And so I think that's an important takeaway for us to think about. Are we really answering that question? How are we? It's a big one, and it's not something that you're just gonna, necessarily out there and share with everybody right off the bat. But well, I don't know. It was something I was thinking about.
If you've got a thumb, thumb down, or a little thing. How you doing?
Yeah. How are you doing?
Okay. You can
I'm
also
doing
put
okay.
the
Today I'm kind of like this.
Okay. We all have really high days and really low days. I see Susie. Susie's like me. Susie's in California. Heidi looks good. We've got, so many different voices in this. Next up, Nathan, what was the thought in your group? Any takeaways or connections you'd like to share with us? Ooh, Nathan, you're muted. That's okay.
When I zoomed back, I forgot to unmute. One, a common thing that I keep hearing both within the group that I just talked with and also other teachers elsewhere is the students that are just missing right now. And is it that they're not coming to class or turning in work because they're trying to pull one over on you in this exceptional time? Or do they have stressors in their household that are causing trauma, really? That, a parent who's unemployed, family member who's sick, a family member who's died. And it's hard for us to really know these things. And, it's just a common thing that I keep hearing. And I had mentioned in my group that my school, I get a sort of schizophrenic line from them in that, on one hand, we have certain administrators saying we need to be generous, we need to be understanding and flexible and understanding of, whatever situation that these kids might be in. And then there's other folks who were having conversations you know, drilling down on the rigor, drilling down on, you know, assessments and accountability, and how do we know the kids aren't cheating, and you know,
What?
so it's hard to manage all of those demands at the same time, and you know, and uh, we just did a professional learning day the other day, and I had to step back and say, nobody's got this right, because none of us had time to plan for it. Like it's an emergency, and we're doing the best. The teachers are doing the best, the kids are doing the best, the administrators are doing the best, and so it's hard to, you know, we have to take a breath and be understanding and be gracious.
It's so many beautiful words on that, Nathan. It's like what who was it? Noah Geisel. Does everybody know Noah Geisel? He's a Spanish teacher, ACTFL Teacher of the Year a couple of years ago, 2013. He texted me because I had a moment of despair. I did. And it was more, I'm going to say it up straight, it was kind of a colleague who was like, must do these workbook exercises, must get this verb in the present perfect. And I went, why are you doing this to yourself and to your kids? You're so imagining that this box of school that the kids have been in for so many years, you're going to recreate it in your bedroom. You're going to recreate it in your dining room. It's the box for them, and our box and that box of school are so different, and it's not going to be what we expect, is it?
Mm-hmm.
It can't be. It cannot be that. And what it can be is enrichment and connections and just taking care of them. Like this conversation we're having right now. It's not really teaching us anything, but it is relieving maybe some stress. Thank you, Nathan. Heidi, what's some takeaways or connections that you heard in your group? And Heidi, I think you are also, Heidi, you're muted as well, sorry. There we
Okay,
go.
sorry, forgot to
That's
unmute
okay.
myself.
That's cool.
Just like the students. But we ended up our conversation just like Nathan had shared, how we were trying to figure out some ways to connect with our kids, what's been working, what isn't working with that. And then another topic we spent a lot of time discussing was the different amounts of work and time that different districts are letting teachers work with our students, where some get 30 minutes a day every day. Some people are limited to just 30 minutes a week. And how do we make this work? What's the balance? And then we looked at, I'm trying to remember, what else did we look at? Just different ways that we could reach out, kind of help each other. But it was a really good discussion with my group. So
thank you so much, Teresa.
of course.
Okay, so a lot of the topics overlapped that other people have talked about, but something that came out was just worry for our students, and synchronous versus asynchronous. And those of us who are doing some synchronous things, we are getting to know our students in a way that we sometimes don't get to do at all, like when we're meeting in the classroom. And so I reminded our group, and we discussed this, that we are still mandated reporters. So this just happened to me yesterday. I ended up having to have a student find a new place to stay because violent things were happening in the home. So we need to be aware that as we're doing like these Zoom things and stuff, we might be called upon to take part in something that we really did not sign up for when we became teachers. We're providing we've always done quite a bit of SEL, but we're needing it for ourselves too. So we should definitely think about when you're getting all worn out, it takes a lot of psychic energy to keep constantly thinking of how am I going to fix this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem. And sometimes we even create problems because it makes us feel like we're being productive. So we talked about that a little bit. We talked about just worrying about how we're going to assess, like Nathan said, what is assessment going to look like? What are we going to be expected to do? And how can we get kids to actually show up and buy in? And I think private schools are having a different experience than public schools. And so we talked about that a little bit.
You know, Susie said, my biggest challenge is how to stay connected with students and help them enjoy staying engaged with French. It might be the year where we say we're not going to meet all of those objectives. And that's a hard thing to say because this is our identity. This is who we are. Every morning I get up, I go to school, and I'm a French teacher. And that's me. And my students are not me. We have this way of being ourselves every day, almost every day, although there are some days where I just stay in bed until noon reading Twitter. Okay. We might need to be okay with our kids not being entirely engaged with this. And it's hard to imagine, but please.
And it's not personal.
It's not personal. It's not, you've taken them out of the school world, and some of the kids are just engaged naturally. Like my kids are on Instagram. They like the Instagram with me, you know, and that's one way I keep them engaged. Sheila Conrad was doing TikToks, and I said, I heard that there are a few French teachers doing that. Just be careful about TikTok, etc. But, you know, there's things that we're doing, but please just know that this thing that you've always been known for, your identity at school as the French teacher, is not what the kids know us as right now. So please be okay with yourself. Justin, any takeaways or connections?
Our group just talked a lot about doing the best that we can for the students who show up, that we need to try to reach those who are not showing up, and we need to make that effort, but just doing what we can for our AP students as we freak out about that, and for the kids who do show up, because they need us, and that's why they're showing up. Those who aren't might be needing us too, but those who do show up, yeah.
That's so well said. Take care of the kids who show up, and then think about, you know, make those connections. Who did I miss for a takeaway? I got Katie, Nathan, Teresa, Heidi. Okay, Justin. It's like you're mentally counting your kids all the time, right? Who's in the class? Who's already talked? So I'm going to go into the next slide here for a second. We're going to start conversation room number 2 in a few minutes, and I'm going to hold up my paper, and I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on there. While you were in conversation room number 1, I did my homework. Can you see? I put everybody into the groups that they asked for.
Bon travail.
C'est fou, c'est fou. What I did was I looked at your name and I just sorted the sheet and I put y'all into groups. I'm going to do my best to get you in there, but I just want to check if there's some quotes, there's some questions in the chat. Just a real quick thing. I did an awesome TikTok Thursday activity. You can share. Okay, so here I just want to remind everybody that we have this sharing document, and if you want to find the link for it, it's on this one right here. Okay, the 4th slide, if you're on our presentation, it says shared resources document. And if there's like a link to a TikTok you want to share or something, this is on there and you'll be able to access it. And then later I'm going to show you where all of our curated resources for the ATF are. So are we ready for the second room?
Sure.
Presenters? Okay, and okay, I just want to make sure if there's TikTok, and then Edmodo, like Facebook. Yeah, Edmodo's been around for a while. It's a good, not sure how the kids care if it's like Facebook. I think it's more the teachers, but that's, you know, that's the thing is, put a thumbs up if you're on the French Teachers in the USA page. Yeah, okay, and if you've ever participated in it, we really appreciate. Thank you, Janelle. I see you in your thumb. I see you in your thumb. Okay, so this is a big one for me because I have to get people in the right room. It'll take a few seconds. So if you need to go grab some coffee, which I did while you guys were, you know, working, I went and got some more coffee.
Sneaky.
I was out and back in about 3 seconds. Right. So let's make me a little bit bigger. And so in this conversation, the facilitators are going to share their ideas with you. And we're going to move on to, okay. So let me think here how I'm going to do this. Chance to go on to our shared slide. You'll find the name of each presenter and their contact information. So if you need to ask them more questions or get in contact with them, they're there. Again, these are teachers just like you who are spending an hour and a half, hour and 45, maybe 2 hours, plus the time that it took for them to get ready. So if you're coming in, just give them a big hand and thank. It's so important that we're here for each other. And I promise I will be treating them to many, many little surprises in life. Thank you. Okay, we'll make sure everybody's back in. I'm not going to do a wrap up because you had time to talk and it sounded like those groups were great. Thank you so very much for being in there for them. We have a little chat thing. Everybody's saying, yeah, merci mille fois. Of course, like mille fois. Yeah, it's just, this is the power of an organization that cares for specifically French teachers. And I'm been a member of the ATF since I think 2003 when we were in Martinique the first time. And ever since then, it's been because of this organization that I felt I found people with whom I can talk to, I can work with, I can collaborate with. So thank you for being a member. And if you're not a member, hey, think about it because this is pretty cool stuff that we do. So we're in this together. And the last few minutes I'm going to show you, I'm going to scroll down to the ATF shared resources. Okay, so I'm going to put this in present. If you don't know about all of our shared resources, you can watch the first webinars that we did. I walk you through each one specifically. And if you want to go to those webinars, go to the ATF website. It's just frenchteachers.org. And when you're on the main page, okay, there's a little top box that says learn more. Click on that and just scroll down. Our curated resources page is there, and then here are all the webinars that Nathan and Heidi and I did. So if you want to learn more from Heidi or more from Nathan, go back and look at any of those. Those are open to anybody. Okay? But if you look on, we've got this wonderful Wakelet that I've been pushing on French teachers in the US. You're like, Catherine, stop, really? No, gotta keep pushing it because we can't organize things on Facebook, right? You can't. You can say you do, but you're not. And most of these are open for collaboration. And if you want to become a participant on there, I've got a link for you that you can share the resources on, and that's on the second slide. Okay, so here it says collaborative collections, join links and codes. And I made a little video on how to do that. But this is like, let's say, Pinterest. And especially for the AP teachers, this is for you. We have been putting everything that all the AP teachers just for the 2020 exam. Look at her face, okay? That's all of us. We have all these things for the cultural comparison. Here we are, the activities and preparation. I see, yes, you are a goddess. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I just grabbed it.
Yes, thank you. I just looked at that before this session today.
See, this is what I'm talking about, the collaborative part. When you share something on Facebook, it's possible that nobody will ever see it. If you put it on Wakelet, people can just see every single thing, right? And it's organized. It tells you these are cultural comparison activities. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's no special keyword that you have to put in. It's just right there. Okay, so this Wakelet is only for AP, and you can look at all these beautiful things that have been shared. I mean, honestly, there's more. Tell me that's not awesome. There's also like Identité, Cuisine et Géographie. These are all the resources that I've been putting together because this is what I'm going to be sharing with my students because we're all cooped up, we're eating. Let's talk about food and where we live. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that. So I have the matériel pédagogique, I have puzzle, activité et jeu. I mean, I've got all these things for the students, and that's for me so that I can keep all my stuff organized. I need it's like a file folder on your computer or a vertical file with paper. This is where I put all of my resources, and then I build things like an ed puzzle or a reading activity. You know, this is how I keep all my stuff organized.
Is it organized by level?
No, that's up to you to decide. I would say that anything can be used for any level, almost. That's up to you. The other things that we have are listening resources. Okay, and there you have some things that teachers have shared. These are the teacher created, prepared, shareable activities. And we've asked teachers to list which level they're using, Rose. So that way, So these are all the podcasts. You say you want your kids to be more engaged with French. Okay, send them the podcasts. They're little kid ones. It says videos for children, right? There's the Teresa Terrible, I think her name is. She has a student-friendly playlist. Faire du sport en français. She put that one up there. There's so many beautiful things. Most of us know about Audiolingua. We also have a Pinterest board. We have tons of Pinterest boards. All these podcasts are available, and we're trying to say pour les enfants. Okay, so you are not without resources. These are now the teacher created and shareable. These are activities, and this one was just beautiful. The song by Le Grand Corps Malade, Fait Secondaire. She has a whole activity plus the videos right there. There's a Quizlet to go with it. One teacher at the higher level did Paul Éluard, Liberté, which is a beautiful thought right now. I'm asking you please to go look at our Wakelet, and if you want to contribute, there's a link on our shared presentation. But if you just want to look and click and steal and add it to your own bookmarks, have at it. Okay, we put these together for guests. We've got everybody doing this for each other. If you just keep going down, you have livre, you have e-livre, you have maison de presse, écrivain, there's free books galore. Then there's the other sections. I mean, if you can't find it, you call me, I will find it. And then if you go to the AATF Pinterest, oh my goodness, I'm trying to do this while I'm thinking. Help me help spell Pinterest. Well, it's because I'm using someone else's computer that it's not typing up automatically. Let's see if this pops up.
Can I ask a question while you are doing that?
There we are.
So can I distribute those books to my students?
Yeah.
Online?
Yeah, if you go to this one, Livre, it's all, so many of the Maison de Presse right now are sharing out all for free. Their magazines, their books. There are so many of them that are just offering.
Without asking for an account.
Correct. You get the PDFs. You get a link to the PDF.
Okay, great.
So that's beautiful. I mean, woof.
There's
Okay.
another great website too called Epic Books, and they have a French section, and there's audiobooks as well as books that the kids can read, and they're all different levels.
So easy.
What is it called again?
It's called Epic Books. It's getepic.com, and it's free.
Thank you.
It's always been free for teachers.
Okay, so there's that. And that's how we, share things, and I'll put the link on after we're done. So our Pinterest links, if you don't know how to use Pinterest, it's like, if you see something you like, okay, you don't need to pin it. You can click on it and you can save the link to your computer. Like this is a YouTube. You would send that to your students with maybe an Ed puzzle or a Google form. If you see something like an infography, you're going to click on that link and then look at it. It's an article plus an infography, and maybe you could make a little reading. Okay, here it is. You could right click and you could say save images. And then it would be on your computer. And then you can install it and you can insert it into your own Google document or your own PDF, whatever you're making. And you just save it to your computer and you would give it a good name, right? Good name. And then it's yours. One more that I want to show you real quick is the YouTube of the ATF. We have thousands of videos already organized for you. I don't do them by level, I do them by themes. And though it says the AP theme on it, it's for any level. I was in Polynésie Française this past summer, so the majority of my videos are amazing. Those are wonderful. L'alimentation durable et locale. That's a great thing for us to talk about right now. Where are we getting our food? But look at all these playlists that have sometimes 23, sometimes 50 videos in them that are ready for you. And I've watched all of them. Sick, weird world that I live in. Okay, I love watching videos. This is what I do. I don't watch any of the series on Netflix. I watch videos and put them into categories. And if you can't find it, I have messed up in life. What kind of questions do you have about those resources?
My question is, are there any activities developed that goes with those?
So what you would do is you could go into Wakelet and look at the activités that have been shared by their teachers under listening. When we ask, do you have something to share? especially on the French teachers in the US, is like I try and grab it, but if you help produce them, then we can have a big list. That's my carrot. We need you to share one, and if everybody in our whole organization shared one activity, we would have 7,000 activities. So please think about sharing. You can send it to me. I'll upload it for you. That's what I've been doing for the past month, is just grabbing people's stuff and saying, hey, here you go. I need your help though. Okay. Let's imagine that you are cooped up in your home and you need a virtual tour. Okay. We have several, and when I mean several, I mean just ridiculous amount of Google albums. And I'm going to try and sign in like this. It's you can't get to it this way, but you do have the link inside the document right there where it says Google Forms. This is my own. I'm going to switch it to the ATF. And again, you can't see it like I do. For some reason, Google's not like Flickr. But here you have just panneaux et affiches from Europe. And I love this one. So you can add to this one. When you click on the link that's inside this Google document, you can add your own pictures of Senegal. Yes, she goes, I'm busy, Emmett said, I know. But look at all these beautiful pictures. These are teacher pictures. So they're copyright free. These are from teachers in our organization that say, hey, I have some pictures to share. And you could send your students to this album. You could say, pick out 5 pictures and write about them. There's so many cultural comparisons. There is a whole album devoted just to imperatif, right here. You look at this.
Catherine, you said this is available. Where are the pictures stored?
Okay, so we're on slide number 38 on my presentation.
Okay.
Okay, so then it says Google Photos down here. When you click on that, you're going to go to a document, and all of the albums are organized like Afrique francophone. When you click on that, you're going to go exactly to that album. And there it is, Maroc. And you have all my pictures that I took. Okay, so then other people's. So you go to there, you find out, oh, this is when I went up to Canada, because I live like 5-10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from Canada. I went and just took pictures of food. Isn't that silly? No, it's not. It's amazing. It's like the best resource. And these are teacher created, right? So this is what we know we want. Google Images doesn't know what we want. This is what we want. Even just like down to the, it's in Strasbourg. Particular and special. Okay. There's Digo and there's EFProf. But again, you can watch that first webinar that we did from the AATF website. And you can watch how I use them and get that all set up too. I put a link directly to all the curated resources right here. And that's on slide 4. So definitely use this presentation, go through it, and find all those links that we've shared. Mine are at the very bottom because I wanted to be the last thought you had in your head, is what can the ATF do for you, okay? I'm gonna ask if there's any last minute questions, and then I'll ask Katie, Justin, Teresa, Heidi, and Nathan just to say their last few thoughtful words for you. Any quick questions that you want to say out loud or in the chat? Yeah, there's a lot of resources. I'm telling you, this is what we do. This is why I drink. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I know they're amazing, but if you don't use them and share them with your colleagues, they just sit hidden, unknown. There's one new message. I use an online creation. Yeah, Bunsey is awesome too. Definitely, she's gonna, okay, we've got someone offering to do a webinar. Okay, I'm gonna write your name down. Don't ask. Don't offer if you're not willing. Okay.
Seriously, I'm a Bunsey ambassador, so I'm happy to do it, and I can even set it up so that I have Brian from Bunsey jump on the call too, and the two of us can kind of toggle back and forth.
You promise I offer. Okay. How many of you would try, just with a little hand raise, how many of you will try to use some of these resources, do you think? Like, yeah, okay, I'm looking at hands, right? Okay. If you have further questions, you know who I am, right? You know how to find me. I've sent you emails. Okay. Katie, you're my first screen. Do you have any last final words?
Can you scroll up to my slide, maybe 2
Yep,
or 3
I see it.
above that? I have
You're
a
right
silly
there.
picture. Yep. Okay, so if you click on that link there, it'll take you to a Padlet. And on the Padlet are, if you click on that link there, suggestions for self-care for you, but resources that you might be able to share with your students too, depending on the level. Some things are definitely more, sorry?
I'm going to put that in a Wakelet.
Okay, put that in a Wakelet if you want. You know, like meditation, a wellness calendar, you know, just a variety of things. So I would encourage everybody here, if you know of one good resource that you could pop up here, you could stick it on here too.
Calm is very good. That's true. Calm has been in French, right?
Calm? Yeah, I think Calm. Yeah, I think Calm is free right now too. Mm-hmm.
They were overwhelmed last time I tried and joined, but okay.
And it's always free for teachers too.
It isn't always free for teachers.
Oh, really?
Before we closed, I tried to do it, and it was no longer free for teachers. But I think it might be free again.
Let's hope so, because we all need that.
Yeah.
And that brings me to Nathan. Nathan, last thoughts?
One of the participants today was talking about feeling overwhelmed by the dearth of things that are available. And I will tell you, during my week of spring break, when I was at home and everybody else was teaching, do you know what Nathan did? I signed up for every single thing that I thought looked interesting that had a free subscription or an upgrade. And I did that for days and days. And I, myself, who love all these fun tech tools, got stressed out too. And so I just said, knock it off, go with the ones that you like, pick one new one, and that's it. So, you know, my advice for people who are feeling overwhelmed is just go with what you and your students know and just make the best of it. And if you still find that you're finding a deficiency in meeting your old norm, then reach out and we can find maybe one thing for you, but don't feel like you need a bazillion things in your arsenal, because you know, I think now is a time of just simplicity and keep it as basic as possible.
Thank you for reminding us. Okay, Heidi, that brings it up to you because you're the person with all the tools. What do you have to say?
Right. So I do have, if we can go, Catherine, if you can go down to the start of my slides, the one that says share with the rainbow. There you go. So there is a place where you guys can share any tools that are working with you. I realized after my group told me I didn't have it set to open for you all, so I apologize. So that's why it's empty right now.
Mm-hmm.
But please share ideas, and of course we'll put those on the Wakelet. Yeah. So any ideas you have, please share them there. But overall, I want to just tell you all, please be kind to yourselves during this time. Don't feel that you have to be perfect. It is okay to fail. It's okay to mess up. And please forgive yourself when you mess up. Like, it took me a while to be okay with that. Like, I had a breakdown not last weekend, but the weekend before. And it was 5 a.m. in the morning. I just woke up in tears. And it was just everything, like, I was trying to be perfect and get everything right. And I was just like, no, you have to stop. It's not going to be perfect. It's not the same as when you're in your classroom. Like, I have to be okay with all of that. So just know that your kids are going to appreciate anything you do. Just being there for them right now, that's enough. Like, you are enough. And just know that, and know that we're all here to support you all. We love you all, and just keep being amazing.
Thank you, Heidi. Okay, I'm going to show you, not that I'm not moving in on Heidi here in any way. No. I do have a website that has all these tools, and they're organized by like what you would do with them. And a lot of people asked about the assessments in language earlier. So it's just my name, Catherine-Mousselin.com. If you Google me, I promise you'll find me. If you find my school resources, don't worry about that. That's for the kids, but like there's examples and things to do with them. And I always say, if you find another tool that's not on here, please share it with me. I'll look on Heidi's. Especially the assessments one, people are asking a lot of questions about that. So probably a few of those that she talked about today and examples. All right, Teresa, thoughts?
Okay, there I am.
Yep.
Again, just a vote for don't feel like you have to do all the things and all the tech, and just reach out to each other and take advantage of the fact that we're all here and we're all really in the same boat, even though we feel like we're all in our own little silos. and we really feel like we're missing out on things that we had planned and activities, like especially with our students. I had an opera trip, I had a ballet trip. You know, we had a lot of really cool things planned that, as Catherine said, like form our identity of who we are. And sometimes we can go into a little bit of a crisis when we can't make those things come to fruition, and we feel like we're letting someone down, and we're really, really, really not. So reach out to those of us who look like we have it together too, because I assure you, we do not.
Right. Let's see, who am I missing? Justin?
Justin.
So just remember that if it's hard for us, it's hard for our students, and just be there, do what you can do. This is a totally unique time in our lifetimes, so there are no wrong answers. Just, we'll get through it, and there are a lot of people who are here to help you get through it, so rely on your professional organization.
Okay, Katie, did I get through everybody? Nathan, Teresa, okay, I did. Okay, this is being recorded. I don't know if the breakout sessions were recorded. This is my first time. No, I don't think so, but it's recording while I was popping in there. Okay, I will send you a poll if you would prefer that each presenter had their own webinar. You know, we could try it that way. I will try and think of something, but the 2 breakout rooms, I hope you got a lot out of them, that they were personal. You do have the presentation, you do have all of our contacts, and I hope that's a good start. And we're going to be there's online buddies. Connect, collaborate, create, cry, okay? And we'll see everybody online. I'm going to just stop sharing my screen and finish the meeting. Qu'est-ce que j'allais dire? Qu'est-ce qu'on peut dire? On peut dire bon courage et bonne continuation. Okay? À bientôt.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir. Merci.